And now on CRN Radio, it's time for Silver Moments with Dr. Marcia Baltimore. And now, here's Dr. Baltimore.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to call me, this is the number, and I will repeat it every 15 minutes or so. 1-800-336-2225. Today's show is on the subject of marriage. I did one on marriage before, and this is another one. It seems to me, in my way of thinking, that this is the most important contract people make in their life. When they choose a mate, they choose a life. So I wanted to talk about that today, and I'm going to review a book by Margaret Sanger from 1926. I'll tell you who she was when I get there. I'm going to review a book by Carol Botwin called Sex After 60, Sex After 60, Carol Botwin. And I'm going to review a book called Kinsey, Statistics on Impotence and Age, and Statistics on Sexual Vigor. And finally, I'm going to give you the national statistics of our day from the federal government on widows and widowers. So let's begin with happiness in marriage. That's the goal. The goal when you make a contract in marriage is for happiness. And Margaret Sanger wrote the book called Happiness in Marriage in 1926, produced by the Globe Pequot Press in Saybrook, Connecticut in 1926. Margaret Sanger herself was the leader of the women's movement in America between 1920 and 1930, let's say. The movement was to legalize contraception by selling condoms and diaphragms. Margaret Sanger was a visiting nurse in New York City and had experience by mandate to visit young pregnant women who had tried to abort themselves because they could not afford to feed a third or sometimes a fourth child. And they were aborting themselves with hangers and terrible things and dying. Margaret's value system was such that she tried to teach prevention to her women instead of abstinence, and she advocated the use of the diaphragm or the condom. For this breach of puritanical etiquette, she was sent to jail 8 times because she broke what was known then as the Comstock Law, which prevented the subject of contraception to be printed, spoken about, or mailed in the mail as illustrative and methodology. Her book, Happiness in Marriage, showed the women of the United States how premarital promiscuity on their part of their boyfriends and then husbands created a ruthless selfishness, which was a factor that has been the destruction of mutual happiness in the lives of married people. Sex expression was rightly understood in the consummation of love itself, and Margaret viewed it as an art form. Margaret said that men and women have to master sexual desire as an art form, and in her book she gave the following advice about the nuptial bed. She said men and women must bring to the nuptial bed 1, romance, then knowledge of the body, knowledge of prevention, poetry of speech, art, and appreciation of the most intimate and thrilling adventure that life could hold for one. And she addressed the poetry of courtship, which we will repeat when we come back.
CRN